What's good, y'all? It's Lucky Luch here. Welcome back to my room and my YouTube channel. Today is a special day because we're going to be reviewing one of my favorite timepieces ever. This is the GShock Casioak Tough Solar, otherwise known as the GA2100-3A. I have had this piece for over 2.5 years, and I am so happy that I have finally created content about it. So without further ado, let's get into it. I believe the first GShock I was ever gifted was from my oldest sister. She got me one of the ones, old school looking ones, where it had like 3 dials on the top, and then it had a white band, and in the middle it was blue. So I had that for a few years, and I've owned many others since then. So the reason why I love GShock watches so much is because it brings all the elements that I think are fun about watch collecting. So point number one, they're very inexpensive. You could find these for little as 50 bucks, maybe used or second hand, even at an outlet store. You can find them as much as 500 bucks if you want like a super like metal G-Shock or something like that, which, you know, 500 bucks is a lot of money, but within the scale of watches, it's not too expensive. But once again, you don't even have to go and do all that just to get a really good watch. Second, they're chunky and they come in so many colors, and I think this provides an element of fun, an element of like childlike innocence or youthfulness that can come with watch collecting. And I think it brings us back to basics, just having fun with our favorite colors and adding a pop of color to our outfit. And then point number 3, the reliability. These things go through so much testing. They have 200 meters water resistance. They go through vibrational testing. People have ran these watches over, they've dropped them off of buildings, and they've still been in good shape. So you're getting yourself a reliable piece of hardware when you buy one of these. Also, one thing I didn't mention is the reason why I wanted to do this video is because this watch has been lived through. I see a lot of watch reviews and the reviewer hasn't had the watch for that long. I've had this thing for close to 3 years. I might be off by a little bit, but this thing has been lived in. It's been around the world with me. I bought this watch with me to Amsterdam. That was my first time in Europe. I bought this watch with me to Puerto Rico. I had like a creative trip out to Minneapolis, Minnesota earlier this year. Went to Wisconsin after that. And this watch has followed me through all of those adventures. So I call this my adventure watch. I call this my travel watch. So without going on for too long, let's go back inside and go over the pros, cons, neutrals of the GShock Casioak. Alright, so when it comes to the pros, there are a lot of things that I do enjoy about this watch. Number one has to be the solar powered movement. What I like about this is that it keeps an accuracy of plus minus 15 seconds a month, which is extremely accurate. These movements are also known to last anywhere between 7 years and 20 years. Just to do a comparison here, for automatic watches, they recommend every 5 years you service it. So just buying a $100 watch and knowing you could have it up to 10 years, 20 years before you need to get it fixed or looked at or anything, I think that's pretty awesome. Number 2 is the app and the customization. Though I don't use the Casio watch app that much, it does have a couple cool features. I'm going to read them off to you real quick. So there's automatic time adjustment, which means you can have the accuracy that you want. So that plus and minus 15 immediately goes away if you use the app and adjust the time. Easy watch setting, 300 world time cities. So if you don't want to adjust the time where you're at on your watch itself by just like clicking around and going through the settings, you could do it on the phone with the app. Time and place, reminder, and a phone finder, which I think is very impressive. Shout out to Casio for really using the technology on this one. Number 3, for me personally, it eliminates having a GMT because I travel with this watch, and you'll see right here, I'm able to have it set to the time in New York, 6:49, and then I had the digital display set to Paris, 12:49. So that's really cool. I feel like that's what a GMT watch does. I don't travel that often, so I don't feel the need to have a GMT, even though I think they're cool. So this kind of serves like a 2-for-1 as my adventure watch and my travel watch. Lastly, it's got to be the color. I love the color of this watch. and it matches so many items that I have.
Can't do it like me. I set up the vibe when I chill and perform. Out here getting buckets, you can tell by the form. Made my first record in my...
Even though I absolutely love this watch and I rave about it, it does have a couple of flaws. You can see here that there is some loom on the hour and minute hands. The hour markers are a little bit hard to read because it blends in with the dial of the watch. And at certain points of the day, this digital display down here can get blocked. If it's anywhere between 20 and like 30 minutes, it can block the digital display, making it hard to read. So legibility can be a little bit of an issue sometimes. You know, I have a really fun time wearing this watch, so like sometimes I don't mind if it takes me a second to read the time. And then second is the resin case. So it's a little like flimsy on the outside. Like I can kind of like push it around and like move it. Knowing that stuff can like get like in between parts of the watch does have me a little bit nervous. So that's my second con. The resin case potentially getting warped or moldy in the future. My last con is that there's a lot of functions on here and it's a little bit confusing to get used to. There is a manual that you can download on Casio's website, so that's fine. There are video tutorials, and you could also use the app. But let's say you didn't have any knowledge of that, or you didn't know how to access that, or you're in the middle of nowhere and you're trying to like reset and do stuff. It can be a little difficult to get through the settings if you don't know it and you haven't gotten used to the watch. Out of all the watches in my collection, I've owned this one for the longest. I absolutely love it. I think the pros outweigh the cons by a country mile. And there's other configurations of this watch that you can buy that are a little bit more legible. As I'm looking online right now, I see that there is a yellow one that still has the black dial, but then the hour markers are in white. So that's a little bit more legible. I see another green one that has still like a matching green hour markers, but it has white hands, so I think that allows the dial to stick out a little bit more and be a little bit more legible. They have a red one with red hour markers and a black dial, so there's definitely more legible versions of this watch that aren't mine. You can get around some of the flaws of this watch for sure, but I think it's a great buy. And unless you're, going to like a cocktail event or like a wedding or something, like that's probably the only place where you can't wear this watch. I feel like you can wear this in any other setting. And I absolutely love it. So, yeah, if you have one of these, what do you think of it? If you're thinking about owning one, are there any reasons why you would get it or you wouldn't get it? Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Yeah, thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace.